Lena Carter's hands were shaking so hard she could barely hold the phone. 3 shots of cheap tequila burning down her throat, mascara bleeding down her cheeks, and 7 years of a life she thought she knew lying shattered on the kitchen floor beside her. She typed the words she'd been screaming inside her chest all night. "Fuck you, Marcus. I hope you rot." She hit send, then the phone buzzed. But the reply wasn't from her boyfriend. It was from a stranger. And what that stranger wrote next would pull Lena Carter into a world she was never supposed to see. Before we go any further, if you love stories like this, stories about betrayal, obsession, and the dangerous men women are warned to stay away from, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and drop a comment telling me the city you're watching from tonight. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Now grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get into it. The first thing Lena Carter noticed was the cologne. Not Marcus's cologne, not the one she'd bought him last Christmas from that little shop on Madison Avenue. Something sweeter, something floral almost. The kind of smell a man only picks up if it's been pressed into his shirt collar by someone else. She stood in the doorway of their bedroom, still in her work clothes, still holding the bag of Chinese takeout she'd stopped for on the way home. Orange chicken, his favorite. And she just stood there staring at the shirt draped over the back of the chair while her brain did the math her heart had refused to do for months. "Marcus," she called out. Her voice didn't sound like hers. "In the shower, babe." She could hear the water running, could hear him humming some old Stevie Wonder song he always butchered. And she stood there frozen with that takeout bag slowly leaking warmth into her palm, and she did something she had never done in 7 years of being with him. She picked up his phone. It was sitting right there on the dresser, face up, unlocked. Because Marcus Bell had always been too arrogant to lock a phone, too sure of himself, too sure of her. The messages were right at the top. A woman named Brianna. Hearts, little devil emojis. A photo preview she couldn't quite make out at first, and then her thumb moved on its own, and the photo opened, and Lena Carter felt the floor tilt sideways. It was him. In a hotel room she had never seen, lying on white sheets, smiling at the camera with that lopsided smile she used to think was only for her. The timestamp was from Tuesday. Tuesday, she had been in the hospital with her mother. Tuesday, she had sat in that plastic chair for 14 hours holding her mother's hand. Tuesday, she had called Marcus crying and he had said, "Babe, I'm so sorry. I'm stuck at the office. I'll be there soon." He never came. He told her the next morning he'd fallen asleep at his desk. He had not fallen asleep at his desk. She heard the shower shut off, heard him toweling himself dry, heard him humming that same stupid Stevie Wonder song. Her hands were shaking so badly, she almost dropped the phone. She set it down, exactly where he'd left it, face up, screen dark. Then she walked to the kitchen and set the takeout bag on the counter and put both hands flat on the granite and tried to remember how to breathe. "Smells good," Marcus said, walking in behind her in sweatpants, still rubbing his hair with a towel. "You get the orange chicken." She didn't turn around. "Babe, who's Brianna?" The silence that followed was the loudest silence Lena had ever heard. She counted it, 1, 2, 3 seconds. Then, "Who's Brianna?" Or somebody, she said again. And now she turned and now she looked at him. "The woman in your phone, this woman who sent you a picture of you in a hotel room on Tuesday." His face did a thing then, a very specific thing. It was the face of a man calculating how much she knew and how little he could get away with admitting. "Lena, babe, you went through my phone. That's your question right now." "I'm just saying that's a violation of—" "Marcus," her voice cracked. She hated that it cracked. "I sat in a hospital for 14 hours on Tuesday. I held my mother's hand while they put a tube down her throat. And you were in a hotel room. Lena, it's not. Don't. Baby, listen to me. Don't." She was yelling now. She hadn't meant to yell. She hadn't yelled at a man in her life. She was the quiet one, the polite one, the one her mama raised to never make a scene. And now she was screaming in her own kitchen, and she could not stop. 7 years, Marcus. 7 years of my life. And you on Tuesday while my mother was, it's not what it looks like. Then what is it? He opened his mouth. He closed it. And Lena Carter watched in real time her boyfriend of 7 years try to build a lie on the spot and fail. She watched his mouth move and nothing come out. And she thought to herself very clearly, very quietly, "I am never going to recover from this moment." "I want you out," she said. "Lena, I want you out of my apartment. Tonight. Right now. Take your stuff and get out. It's my apartment, too. The lease is in my name. Baby, can we just... Get out, Marcus. He left around 9:30. He took a duffel bag and his laptop and the watch she'd given him for their 5th anniversary. He tried to hug her on the way out and she stepped back like he was a stranger because he had been for God knew how long. The door clicked shut. And Lena Carter sat down on her kitchen floor with the cold tile pressing through her tights, and she made a sound she had never made before. Not a sob, not a scream, something in between. The sound a woman makes when she realizes she has been the only person in her own relationship for a very long time. She sat there until her phone rang. Lee, it's Jess. I'm pulling up in 2 minutes, open the door. How did you... Your sister called me. Open the door. Jessica Nguyen had been Lena's best friend since the 7th grade, and Jessica Nguyen did not ask permission to show up in a crisis. She arrived 8 minutes later with a bottle of Don Julio, a bag of frozen dumplings, and the furious energy of a woman who had been waiting years to tell her best friend, I told you so, and was now too kind to do it. Tequila, Jess announced, slamming the bottle on the counter. Dumplings, and I brought the good salt. Sit down. Jess, sit. Lena sat. Jess poured 2 shots, pushed one across the counter, raised hers. To trash men, Jess said. To trash men, Lena whispered. They drank. Jess poured again. I never liked him, Jess said. You know that, right? I never liked him. I sat there at Thanksgiving when he made that joke about your mama's cooking, and Jess, I'm just saying, please, not tonight. Jess softened. She reached across the counter and took Lena's hand. Okay, not tonight. Tonight we drink. Tomorrow I get to say it. Deal. They drank. By the 3rd shot, Lena was crying again. By the 5th, she was laughing at something Jess said about Marcus's forehead. By the 7th, she was angry. Not sad angry, not wounded angry. The other kind. The kind of angry that sits behind a woman's teeth for a whole year and finally breaks loose at midnight in her own kitchen. I want to call him, Lena said. No. I want to tell him. Lee, no. I want to tell him exactly what I think of him. Lena Ann Carter, give me that phone. No, Jess, I just want to... Honey, listen to me. You are drunk. You are heartbroken. You will regret this in the morning. I won't regret it. You will. I need to say it, Jess. If I don't say it, I'm going to carry it around in my chest for the rest of my life. Just let me type it out. I won't even send it, I promise. Jess sighed, stared at her, finally nodded. Type it. Don't send. Swear. I swear. Lena picked up her phone. Her fingers were clumsy, the screen blurry. She opened the messages. She typed. You are the worst thing that ever happened to me. You are a coward and a liar, and I hope every single woman you ever touch after me sees right through you. You broke something in me that I don't even know how to fix yet. FCKU Marcus, I hope you rot. She stared at it. Her thumb hovered. Don't, Jess said, watching her. I'm not. Lee, I'm not sending it. Then put the phone down. I just want to look at it. Lena. And then Lena would replay this moment for the rest of her life. The moment her thumb moved half an inch to the right instead of half an inch down, she hit send. Jess saw it happen. Lee, tell me you didn't. Oh my God. Tell me. Oh my God, Jess. What did you do? I didn't mean to. I was just my thumb. Okay, it's fine. You sent it to Marcus. Who cares? He deserved it. It's fine. But Lena was staring at her screen, staring at the name above the message, staring at the contact that was not Marcus, the contact that was not anyone she knew. A string of 10 digits, a number she did not recognize. Jess? What? I didn't send it to Marcus. What do you mean you didn't send it to Marcus? I mean I sent it to the wrong number. Jess leaned over the counter and looked at the screen. Read the digits. Look back at Lena. Okay, that's fine. Some random person that just delete it. Whatever, it's fine. And for about 11 seconds, that's exactly what Lena believed. A random wrong number. Some stranger, somewhere probably asleep at this hour, who would wake up in the morning, see a furious drunk text from an unknown woman, roll their eyes and delete it. 11 seconds. Then her phone buzzed. Both women stared at it. Don't open it, Jess said. What if it's Marcus? Don't open it. Jess, do not open that. Lena opened it and her blood went cold. The message read, you have a beautiful rhythm when you type angry, almost musical. I assumed this wasn't meant for me. Lena read it once, twice, 3 times. Jess, look at this. Jess leaned in, read it, straightened up. Okay, that's weird. Right. That is weird, Lee. Who talks like that? I don't know. Tell them it was a mistake and block the number. Yeah, you're right. Lena's fingers were still trembling. From the tequila, from the crying, from something else now, too, a small, cold thing she couldn't name crawling up the base of her spine. She typed, I'm so sorry. That was meant for my ex. I'm drunk. Please forget I ever... She hit send, 3 seconds. The phone buzzed. I don't forget much, Lena. She stopped breathing. Jess? What? He knows my name. What? Lena turned the phone around. Jess's face went through about 4 different colors. Lena, you didn't put your name on that message, did you? No. Is your number listed somewhere, linked to your name? I don't think so. Block him. Block him right now. Lena's thumb moved toward the block button. It hovered there, and she would never be able to explain this, not to Jess, not to her sister, not to herself. She did not press it. Instead, she typed, how do you know my name? 3 seconds. You introduced yourself 3 weeks ago at a restaurant on 52nd Street. You were arguing with a man. You bumped into me on the way out. You said, I'm so sorry, I'm Lena. I'm such a mess tonight. I said, don't apologize. Messy nights are sometimes the honest ones. You laughed. You said no one had ever said anything nice to you like that. Then you left. Lena read it. Her mouth went dry because she remembered. She remembered the restaurant. She remembered the argument Marcus had been drinking, had embarrassed her. In front of the waiter had said something cruel about her dress. She remembered stumbling toward the door. She remembered bumping into a man in a dark coat. She remembered a voice low and strange saying something kind to her. She remembered laughing. She remembered wanting to turn around and look at him properly and not doing it because Marcus was pulling her sleeve. She remembered. Jess, she whispered, I met this man. What do you mean you met him? 3 weeks ago at Ambrosia, the night Marcus got drunk. I bumped into somebody. I don't even remember his face. How does he have your number? I don't. Her phone buzzed again. Breathe, Lena. I'm not going to hurt you. She dropped the phone on the counter like it had burned her. Jess, she said. Jess, we are blocking him. Right now, tonight. The phone buzzed again. I'm going to say something that will scare you. I want you to stay calm. Your boyfriend Marcus is in a parking garage on 41st Street right now. He is with the woman whose photograph you saw tonight. He is drinking. He will drive home drunk in approximately 40 minutes. I am telling you this because I don't want you to answer the door when he comes to apologize. He will come. He always does. Don't let him in. Lena stared at the screen. Jess stared at the screen. Neither of them moved. Lena. Jess's voice was very soft now, very careful. Lena, honey, what did you just walk into? Lena couldn't answer because somewhere in the back of her mind, in the drunk, quiet space behind all the noise, a single terrible thought had just surfaced clear as a bell. How does a stranger know what Marcus is doing right now? How does a stranger know he's going to come back tonight? How does a stranger know any of this? She picked up the phone with shaking hands. She typed one word. Who are you? A long pause, longer than the others. 20 seconds. 30. 45. Then someone who has been watching the wrong man hurt you for 3 weeks and was beginning to run out of patience. Go to bed, Lena. Lock the door. We'll talk tomorrow. The 3 dots appeared again. Disappeared. Appeared. One more message came through. And Lena, for what it's worth. He doesn't deserve a single one of those tears. The message was read 11:47 p.m. At 12:24 a.m., exactly 37 minutes later, someone pounded on Lena Carter's apartment door. It was Marcus. He was drunk. He had come to apologize. The pounding came in threes. 3 hard thuds, a pause, 3 more. The sound a drunk man makes when he thinks he still has the right to be somewhere. Lena, open the door. Baby, come on. Jessica was already moving. She grabbed Lena by the wrist and pulled her away from the entryway like she was pulling her out of traffic. Don't, Jess whispered. Don't you dare. I wasn't going to. Yes, you were. I saw your face. You were going to. Jess, he's drunk, Lee. He drove here drunk. That man just told you he was going to drive here drunk, and here he is drunk, banging on your door. And that was the thing that stopped Lena cold. Not Marcus's voice through the wood, not the pounding. The fact that a stranger had told her to the minute what her own boyfriend of 7 years was about to do, and the stranger had been right. Lena, baby, I know you're in there. I saw your light. Her stomach turned. Jess, he says he can see my light. He's lying. Your bedroom faces the alley. Right. Breathe. Jess, what do I do? Nothing. You do nothing. You sit on this couch with me and we wait for him to get bored and leave. But Marcus did not get bored. Marcus got louder. Baby, I know you're mad. I know I messed up. I messed up big time and I am here. I am right here outside this door to tell you I am sorry. Open the door, please. Just open the door so I can look at your face. I can't listen to this, Lena whispered. You don't have to listen. Put your hands over your ears. Come here. Jess pulled her into a hug. Lena pressed her face into her best friend's shoulder and tried to block out the voice of the man who had sat across from her at Thanksgiving and held her hand at her grandfather's funeral and lied to her every single day for God knew how long. Lena, open the door. Not a request anymore. A command. He's scaring me, Jess. I know. He's never yelled like that. I know, baby. Should I call the police? And right then, the exact second Lena said the word police, her phone buzzed on the counter. Both women froze. Don't, Jess said. Jess, don't look at it. Lena looked at it. The message on the screen read, don't call the police. I've already sent someone. He'll be gone in under 4 minutes. Stay away from the door. Lena's knees went soft. She sat down on the floor, right there into the hallway phone in one hand, her best friend staring at her like she had lost her mind. Leave. What does it say? He said someone is coming. What? He said, don't call the police. He already sent someone. Who is this man, Lena? I don't. Lena, give me the phone. Give me the phone right now. I'm blocking this number. Jess, wait. No, I am not waiting. I am not doing this. This is how women end up on Dateline, Lee. This is exactly how women end up on Dateline. Some weird man in a coat starts texting them, and they think it's romantic, and then they disappear, and their mamas do a press conference. Jess, I'm serious. I know you are. But Jess, how did he know Marcus was coming? How did he know he'd be drunk? How did he know the exact minute? Jess opened her mouth to answer, closed it, didn't have one. And outside the door, Marcus kept yelling, baby, come on. This is ridiculous. Don't make me stand out here like some. Then the yelling stopped, mid-sentence, clean cut, like somebody had pulled a plug. Both women went still. Jess, Lena's voice was barely above a whisper. Jess, why did he stop? I don't know. They listened. They heard footsteps, not Marcus's, heavier. 2 sets of them, slow, unhurried. The kind of footsteps a man makes when he is not in any rush because he is not afraid of anything in the hallway. Then a voice, male, low, polite. Mr. Bell, who are you? We're here to walk you to your car, Mr. Bell. I don't know you. No, sir, you don't. Get away from me. Lena, there's 2 guys out here. Sir, your car's in the street. Let's go. Get your hands off me. There was a scuffle, a short one, a soft grunt, the sound of a body hitting the hallway wall, not hard, almost gentle, the way you'd lean a piece of furniture against a wall while you figured out where to put it. And then Marcus's voice again, different now, smaller now. Okay, I'm going. Just let me. After you, Mr. Bell. Footsteps down the hall. Marcus is stumbling. The other 2 steady. The elevator dinged. The doors slid open. The doors slid closed. Silence. Lena could hear her own heart in her ears. Jess crawled over on her hands and knees, actually crawled, because apparently neither of them trusted their legs anymore, and put her ear against the door. They're gone, Jess whispered. How do you know? I don't hear anything. Lena's phone buzzed again. He's in the back of a car now. He's being driven home. He will not remember who we were in the morning. He will assume they were security from the building. Go to sleep, Lena. Lena stared at the words. She read them 3 times. And then because the tequila had finally burned through the last shreds of her common sense, she typed back, who are you? The three dots appeared. Adrian what? A long pause. Adrian Voss. Jessica read the name over Lena's shoulder. Said nothing. Said nothing for a long time. Then very quietly, Jessica Nguyen said, Lena, honey, do you have Wi-Fi? What? I need to Google something. What are you? Just let me see your laptop. Please. Lena didn't argue. She was past arguing. She got up on legs that didn't feel like legs, walked to the coffee table and handed Jess the laptop. Jess sat cross-legged on the floor, opened a browser and typed. Adrian Voss, the screen loaded. Jess's face did a thing. What? Lena said. Jess what? Lena. What does it say? Baby. Jess, what does it say? Jessica turned the laptop around. The first result was a news article from the New York Post. The headline read, Voss family patriarch dead at 74. Son Adrian takes over family import business. The second result, federal probe into Voss Holdings stalled for third year. The third, who is Adrian Voss, the mystery man running New York's quietest empire. The fourth was a photo. Lena leaned in, looked at it, and her whole body went cold because she knew him. She knew that face. Not well. Not the way you know a friend. The way you know someone you've bumped into once in a doorway at a restaurant on 52nd Street, and for half a second, drunk and upset, you'd looked up into a pair of gray eyes and a voice had said, messy nights are sometimes the honest ones. Oh my God, Lena whispered. Yeah. Oh my God, Jess. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at, Lee. They're saying a lot of things. None of them are nice. Lena sat down on the floor next to her best friend. She put both hands over her face. She made a sound that was halfway between a laugh and a so. I sent FCKU to a Mafia boss. Yeah. I sent FCKU to a man who the New York Post says, I read it, babe. And he sent actual men to my building. I know. Jess. Yeah. What do I do? Jessica Nguyen took a long breath. She closed the laptop. She turned to her best friend, and she took both of Lena's hands in hers the way she used to do in middle school, when Lena's daddy was dying and neither one of them knew what to say. You go to bed, Jess said. You drink a big glass of water. You take a shower in the morning. You call in sick to work. You change your number. You change your locks, and we pretend this night did not happen. Okay? Say it back to me. Change my number. Change my locks. Pretend it didn't happen. Good. Jess, yeah. Will you stay? Honey, I'm not going anywhere tonight. I'm going to sleep right here on this couch. And if anyone knocks on that door before sunrise, I'm going out the fire escape with you in my arms like a bridal carry. Lena laughed. Actually laughed. A real one. I love you, Jess. I love you too, you dramatic mess. Lena did not sleep. She lay in her bed with the lights off and her phone face down on the nightstand, and she stared at the ceiling and she listened to Jessica snore softly from the couch. She listened to the radiator clang. She listened to a car pass on the street below. She listened to every single sound her apartment had ever made, and she cataloged each one because she did not know anymore which sounds belonged to her and which belonged to someone watching her. At 3:14 a.m., her phone buzzed. She turned her head very slowly, looked at it. She did not pick it up. At 3:16, it buzzed again. She reached out. She flipped it over. Are you awake, Lena? She stared. Her thumbs moved before her brain did. Yes. Are you all right? She stared at the question. It was such a strange question from such a strange man at such a strange hour. Are you all right? Not, are you safe? Not, did the men handle it? Not, did he leave? Are you all right? Like he cared. I don't know what I am. A pause. That's an honest answer. I appreciate it. She waited. Another message came. You Googled me. Her stomach dropped. How do you know that? Because I know when my name is searched. It's a habit. It's how I stay alive. Oh, I imagine what you read was not flattering. No, most of it is true. Some of it is exaggerated. A little of it is wrong. I won't tell you which is which tonight. Lena read it again, and found to her own horror that a tiny piece of her was not afraid. A tiny piece of her, the drunk piece, the angry piece, the piece that had just watched her whole life fall apart in a kitchen, that piece was interested. She hated that piece of her. Why are you doing this? She typed. Doing what? Texting me, watching me, sending men. The three dots appeared. disappeared, appeared. I saw your face 3 weeks ago in that restaurant, Lena. I saw the way that man spoke to you. I saw the way you apologized for something that was not your fault. I went home that night and I could not stop thinking about your face. So I made a phone call. I learned your name. I learned your number. I learned where you worked. I told myself I would not contact you. I told myself I would leave you alone. And then you sent me a message tonight. You sent it to me by mistake, but you sent it to me. And I decided the universe had made a decision I was not willing to argue with. Lena put the phone down on her chest, closed her eyes, counted to 10. She picked the phone back up. That is the most insane thing anyone has ever said to me, I know. You have been watching me for 3 weeks. Not watching, paying attention. There is a difference, is there? Yes. She almost laughed. She almost actually laughed out loud into her empty bedroom at 3 a.m. Adrian. Yes, Lena, I don't know what to do with any of this. You don't have to do anything tonight. Go to sleep. I can't sleep. Then don't sleep, but close your eyes. I promise you are safe tonight. I give you my word. Your word. Yes, is your word worth anything? Another long pause, longer than any of the others. To most people, no. To you, it will be. She read it again. She set the phone down. She did not write back. At some point, somewhere between 4 and 5 a.m., Lena Carter finally fell asleep. She woke up at 10:47 to the sound of Jessica making coffee and cursing at her espresso machine. Lee, get up. You have 11 missed calls. From who? Marcus, all Marcus, and wait, no one from a blocked number and one from your sister. Lena sat up. Her head was splitting. Her mouth tasted like pennies. For one beautiful second, she did not remember anything that had happened the night before, and then she did all at once in a cold rush that made her almost throw up. She grabbed her phone. The most recent text from 10 minutes ago was not from Marcus. It was from Adrian. There is coffee at Angrily over your door. Black, 1 sugar. I wasn't sure how you took it. The doorman accepted the delivery. Don't be alarmed. Lena stared at the phone. Jess? Yeah, babe. Please tell me there is no coffee at my door. What? Jess, please go check. Jessica walked to the door, opened it, stood there for a long moment. She came back holding a brown paper cup from a cafe Lena had never heard of. It was still warm. A little folded card sat on top of the lid. Jess set it down on the counter like it was a grenade. What does the card say? Lena whispered. I'm not opening it. Jess, I don't want to touch it, Lee. Lena reached out with shaking fingers, unfolded it. In small, clean handwriting, the card read, call in sick. Rest today. She read it 4 times. Then, and she would punish herself for this moment, for days she picked up the coffee, and she drank it. It was exactly how she took it. Jess watched her drink it, didn't say a word. Finally, Jess said, Lena Ann Carter. Don't. I have to. Don't, Jess. Lee, I love you. I love you more than I love my own blood sister, and that woman pays half my rent. But I'm going to say this one thing, and then I'm done. Are you listening? I'm listening. That man is not a man you can wade out into. He is a current. You put one toe in him, and he takes you out to sea. You understand what I'm saying to you? I understand. Do you? Jess, I understand. Then you're going to block his number today. Today, before you go to bed tonight. You're going to block him, and you're going to forget his name, and you are going to go hang into being a regular 29-year-old woman with a broken heart and a wine subscription and a best friend who loves you. You hear me? I hear you. Say you'll do it. I'll do it. Jess studied her. Jess had known her for 17 years. Jess knew exactly when Lena Carter was lying. Lee, I said I'll do it, Jess. Jess didn't answer. She just reached across the counter and took the empty coffee cup out of Lena's hand, and she dropped it in the trash, and she walked back over to the couch and picked up her overnight bag. I gotta go to work, Jess said. I'll call you on my lunch break. And Lee, yeah, if I call and you don't answer, I am coming back here with the police and my cousin Derek and a baseball bat. In that order, understood? Understood. Jessica left. The door clicked, shut behind her, and Lena Carter sat alone at her kitchen counter, in the same spot where the night before she had typed a furious drunk text to her ex-boyfriend, and she picked up her phone and she opened the conversation with the man who called himself Adrian Voss. Her thumb hovered over the block button. It hovered for a long time. Then she opened a new message and she typed, "Thank you for the coffee." She did not hit block. She did not hit send either. She sat there for a full minute staring at those 5 words. And then her phone rang in her hand, not a text, a call. The number on the screen was the same number. His number. Lena looked at it ring. 1 ring, 2, 3. On the 4th, she answered, "Hello." And a voice she had heard exactly once 3 weeks ago in a doorway on 52nd Street said in her ear, low and calm and unhurried, "Good morning, Lena. Good morning, Lena." For a long second, she didn't answer. She couldn't. Her tongue had gone flat in her mouth, and her heart was doing something frantic and unhelpful behind her ribs. "You there," he said. "I'm here." "How did you sleep?" "I didn't. I figured." "Adrian." "Yes." "Why are you calling me?" There was a small sound on his end, almost a laugh, but not quite. The sound of a man who was amused and trying not to show it. Because texting someone who Googled you at 3 in the morning feels impersonal. "Oh my God. I'm teasing you, Lena. You are a mafia boss and you are teasing me." "I am not a mafia boss." "That's what the internet says." "The internet says a lot of things. I'm a businessman. I have a last name people remember. That's the whole story." "That's not the whole story." "No," he admitted, "it isn't, but it's enough for a Monday morning." She pressed her forehead into her hand. Her head hurt. Her whole body hurt. She felt like she had been hit by a small car made entirely of tequila and regret. "Adrian, I have to tell you something." "All right. I'm going to block this number." A pause. "Are you?" "Yes, I told my best friend I would." "I see. I'm telling you first because last night you did something for me. I don't know what exactly you did. I don't want to know, but Marcus didn't come back. And whatever that was, Her voice caught. "Thank you, and goodbye." He didn't speak for a moment. When he did, his voice was softer. "Lena." "Yeah. Do me one favor before you block my number." "What?" "Look out your kitchen window, down at the street. Tell me what you see." "Adrian, I am not playing a game with you right now." "It's not a game, I promise. Just look." She hated herself for it. She got up. She walked to the window. She looked down. A black sedan was parked across from her building, the kind of car that does not belong on her street. Tinted windows, nobody getting in, nobody getting out, just sitting there idling. "I see a car," she said. "Yes." "Is that yours?" "Yes." "Why is it there?" "Because your ex-boyfriend took a cab to your building 20 minutes ago, and my men turned him around at the corner. He's gone home. He'll try again tonight. He'll keep trying, Lena. He's not a dangerous man, but he is a stubborn one, and a stubborn drunk is its own kind of problem." Her stomach turned. "He's been here already this morning. He's been trying since 7, and you were sleeping." "Adrian." "Yes. I did not ask for this." "I know. I did not ask you to put a car on my street. I did not ask you to send men into my hallway. I did not ask you to watch me." "I know." "Then why?" "Because nobody else is going to," he said, and there was something so quiet about the way he said it that she had to sit down on her kitchen stool. "Because the man who was supposed to love you was at a hotel on Tuesday while your mother couldn't breathe. Because your best friend is a good woman and she loves you, but she goes home at night. Because I saw your face 3 weeks ago, Lena, and whatever that was, I don't pretend to understand it. I have not been able to set it down." She didn't speak. She couldn't. "You're going to block this number," he said. "I'm not going to stop you. I gave you my word I would not hurt you, and that includes not keeping you on the phone against your will. So you block me, and I'll keep a car on your street for the next 3 days, and then I'll pull it off, and I will leave you alone. That is what I owe you for the mistake of contacting you in the first place." "Adrian." "Goodbye, Lena." He hung up. She stared at the dark screen of her phone. For the first time in 12 hours, Lena Carter did not know what she was more afraid of, the man who had been lying to her for 7 years, or the man who had just told her goodbye. She did not block him. She told herself she would do it later. She did not do it later. By that afternoon, Jessica had called her 6 times and Lena had answered 4. The 2 she hadn't answered, Jess had left voicemails that started with Lena Ann Carter. "If you are dead, I am going to kill you." On the 5th call, Lena finally told her friend in the careful voice of a woman who had practiced a lie in the mirror that she had blocked the number and gone to the pharmacy and was fine. You sure? Jess said. I'm sure. Because you sound weird, Lee. I drank a lot of tequila last night, Jess. I sound weird because I am dying. Fair. Can I go back to bed? Go. Drink water. Text me in the morning. I will. She hung up and immediately felt terrible. Lying to Jess was a thing she had done maybe 3 times in 17 years, and each time it had rotted in her stomach for a week. This time it rotted for about 4 hours. At 5:42 p.m., her phone lit up with a text from her ex-boyfriend. Lena, please, I know you don't want to hear from me. I am begging you. 10 minutes. I'll meet you anywhere. Public place. Your choice. I just need to look you in the eye and say what I have to say. Please. She read it. She read it again. She laughed a short, dry laugh with no humor in it because she knew that if she didn't agree to 10 minutes, he was going to show up at her door every night for the next 2 weeks. She had seen him do it to his own mother over a disagreement about Thanksgiving. Marcus Bell did not accept the word no. Marcus Bell waited for it to turn into fine. She typed back, tomorrow, 6 p.m. The coffee shop on Lexington, 10 minutes. If you are even 1 minute late, I leave. Thank you, baby. Thank you. I love you. She did not answer. She sat with her phone in her hand for a long time. She thought about calling Jess. She thought about not calling Jess. She thought about all the things she wanted to say to Marcus and all the things she knew she would not say because she had never in her life been able to make her mouth form the shape of her anger when he was sitting in front of her. Then without really thinking about it, her thumb moved. She typed a message to Adrian. I'm meeting him tomorrow at 6, coffee shop on Lex. I just want you to know, in case something happens, I am not asking you to come. I am not asking you to do anything. I wanted someone to know. She stared at it for 30 seconds. Her eyes burned. She hit send. The reply came in under a minute. Thank you for telling me. That was it. Nothing else. And somehow absurdly, that short answer steadied her more than anything anyone had said to her in 24 hours. The next day crawled. She called in sick. She lay on her couch. She watched 3 episodes of a show she did not remember the name of. She stared at the ceiling. She ate half a piece of toast. At 5:30 p.m., she put on the first thing she pulled out of her closet, a pair of jeans and a sweater, the color of dry leaves, and she walked out of her building and down 2 blocks to the coffee shop on Lexington, and she sat at a table by the window and she waited. Marcus was 8 minutes late. She was about to get up and leave when he came through the door with his hair damp from a shower and his eyes rimmed red and his hands already half raised like a man surrendering. Baby, don't call me that. Lena. Sit down, Marcus. He sat. He tried to take her hand. She pulled it back. You have 10 minutes, she said. Go. He started crying. She had seen this man cry exactly twice in 7 years. Once when his grandmother died and once the night he'd been pulled over for drinking and lost his license for 6 months. Both times the tears had worked on her. Both times she had wrapped her arms around him and told him it was going to be okay. This time she watched him cry the way a woman watches rain fall on somebody else's roof. I am so sorry, he said. Lena, I am so sorry. Brianna, she's nothing. She is nothing. She was a mistake. I was lonely. I was stupid. You were lonely. Baby, I sat in a hospital for 14 hours on Tuesday. I know. I hate myself. Lena, I swear to God, I hate myself right now. Please, I will go to therapy. I will go to couples therapy. I will go to a priest. I'll go to all 3. Just please, don't do this. Don't throw away 7 years. I am not throwing away 7 years. Lena, you threw away 7 years, Marcus, in a hotel room on a Tuesday. He dropped his face into his hands. I love you, Aki, he said into his palms. I love you so much. I don't think you know what that word means. He looked up. His eyes were wet, but they were also doing something else, something she had seen before but never really looked at. A little flicker, a recalibration, a shift from pleading to something harder. Who is he? She blinked. What? Who is he, Lena? Who is who? The guy. There's a guy. I know there's a guy. Marcus way. Last night when I came to your place, there were 2 men in the hallway. Those weren't security, Lena. Security doesn't look like that. Security doesn't move like that. So who is he? Her pulse went up. She kept her face flat. There is no guy, Marcus. Don't lie to me. You are telling me not to lie. Lena, There is no guy. She leaned forward, her voice dropped. And even if there was, even if I had started seeing somebody else 5 minutes after you left my apartment, Marcus, it would not be any of your business. You lost the right to ask me those questions on Tuesday. Do you understand what I'm telling you? His jaw tightened. The pleading was gone now, completely gone. His face had done the thing she had only ever seen it do once before the night he'd yelled at a waiter in Ambrosia until the poor kid's hands shook. Don't make me look stupid, Lena. Excuse me. Don't make me look stupid in front of my boys. Don't make me look like the guy whose girl left him for some rich Manhattan. Marcus. Lena. This is over. Don't say that. It's over. Baby, it was over Tuesday. You just didn't know yet. She stood up. He grabbed her wrist. Not hard, not at first, but hard enough. Hard enough that she froze for a half second and looked down at his hand on her arm in public in a coffee shop on Lexington Avenue at 6:14 p.m. and realized that she did not know the man she was looking at. Sit down, Marcus said, low, quiet. We are not done. Sit down. Let go of my arm. Sit down, Lena. Let go of my arm, Marcus. The barista was watching. A woman at the next table was watching. An old man in the corner with a newspaper was watching. Nobody moved. Nobody ever moves. This was the thing about being a woman in public that she had always known. When a man grabs you, every other person in the room turns into furniture. Except one of them didn't. A hand came down on Marcus's shoulder. Not hard, almost friendly. A hand attached to an arm in a charcoal overcoat. Sir, a voice said mildly. Let go of the lady's arm. Marcus looked up. His face did three things. First it did confusion. Then it did recognition. Then it did fear. He let go of her arm like it was on fire. Adrian Voss was standing behind Marcus's chair in a charcoal coat and a white shirt with no tie. His hair was dark and cut close. His eyes were the color she remembered from 3 weeks ago in the doorway at Ambrosia Gray, the kind of gray that doesn't really look like any color at all until it looks at you. He did not look at Lena. He looked down at Marcus. Mr. Bell, he said, stand up. I don't know who you... Stand up, Mr. Bell. Marcus stood. Now, Adrian said, still perfectly calm, you are going to walk out of this coffee shop. You are going to turn left on Lexington. You are going to walk 3 blocks. You are not going to look back. You are not going to call her. You are not going to text her. You are not going to come to her building. Are we clear? Who the hell are we clear, Mr. Bell? Something in Adrian's voice did something to Marcus's face. Lena watched it happen. She watched her boyfriend of 7 years, the man who had yelled at waiters and grabbed her wrist and cried on command, turn into a 12-year-old boy in the space of 1 sentence. Yeah, Marcus said. Yeah, we're clear. Good. I just want to say don't. Marcus walked out. He did not look back. The bell over the door jingled. The barista pretended to clean a cup. The woman at the next table pretended to read a menu. The old man in the corner turned a page of his newspaper. And Adrian Voss turned finally to look at Lena Carter. Are you all right? He said. She didn't answer. She was looking at her own wrist. There were 4 small red marks on it, faint, already the shape of Marcus's fingertips. Adrian saw her looking. He saw the marks. Something moved in his face. Not loud, not visible to anyone who hadn't been watching for it. But Lena was watching for it. And for a split second, Lena Carter saw what Adrian Voss looked like when he was angry. And she understood in her bones without anybody having to tell her that it was a thing a woman only wanted to see once in her life. I'm fine, she said. You're not? I am. Lena, I asked you not to come. You told me where you would be. That is not the same as asking me not to come. Adrian, sit down. I don't want to sit down. Then we'll walk. He put his hand very lightly on the small of her back. He did not push. He did not pull. The hand was barely there at all. But Lena Carter, who had been grabbed by the wrist 30 seconds ago by a man who had shared her bed for 7 years, found that this hand from a man she had known for 48 hours did not frighten her. She found instead that she was walking. They walked out of the coffee shop. They walked down Lexington. They turned onto a side street. A black sedan pulled up alongside them, smooth as a fish. The same black sedan she had seen from her window. Get in, Adrian said. No. He stopped walking. No, I am not getting in a car with you. He looked at her for a long moment. Then to her surprise, he smiled. A small smile, just a corner of his mouth. The first smile she had ever seen on his face. "Smart girl," he said. He opened the passenger door of the sedan and leaned in and said something to the driver in a low voice. The driver nodded. The sedan pulled away and turned at the corner and disappeared. Adrian straightened up. "I'll walk you home," he said. "That's all. I give you my word." "Your word again?" "Yes." She looked at him. "Why do you keep saying that? Your word, like it means something." "Because where I come from, Lena, it is the only thing that does." They walked. They did not speak for 2 blocks. At the 3rd block, she said without looking at him, "He grabbed my wrist. I saw. Nobody did anything." "I know. A man has never grabbed me before." "I know." "Adrian." "Yes. If you had not walked in, I was always going to walk in. You were in the shop the whole time. I was at the counter the entire time." "Oh my God." "I ordered a coffee. I watched you. I waited for him to say something I did not like." "That's insane." "Yes, that is a completely insane thing to do." "I know." She laughed. She couldn't help it. A small, helpless laugh that was more air than sound. "Drian." "Yes, Lena." "I don't know what you want from me." He stopped walking. He turned and faced her. He put his hands in the pockets of his charcoal coat, and he looked down at her the way she imagined a man might look at something he had found in a field and could not decide whether to keep or leave. "I don't want anything from you," he said. "That is the honest answer. I don't want a date. I don't want a kiss. I don't want you in my car. I don't want you to owe me. I want you to be safe. That is what I want. When you are safe, I will go away." She stared at him. "I don't believe you." "That's all right. I don't believe anybody who says they don't want anything." "That is probably wise." "Then what are you doing, Adrian?" He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said very softly, "I am trying to find out whether I am still a man who can want something without taking it. I haven't been tested on that question in a long time. You are the test." Lena Carter did not know what to say to that, so she said nothing. They walked the rest of the way to her building in silence, and when they got there, he stopped at the corner the way a man stops who is not going to cross a line he has not been invited over. "Go inside," he said, "and lock your door. Sleep. He won't bother you again." "Adrian." "Yes. Thank you." He nodded once. "Good night, Lena." "Good night, Adrian." She walked into her building. She took the elevator up. She unlocked her door. She locked it behind her. She dropped her coat on the couch. She sat down on the floor of her living room with her back against the front door, and she put her head in her hands, and she tried to remember what her life had looked like 48 hours ago. She could not. She could not remember it at all. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out. "I forgot to ask. Did you eat today?" She laughed out loud into her empty apartment. Then she cried. Then she laughed again. Then she typed back with fingers that were steadier than they had any right to be. "No, I didn't." A pause. "There is a paper bag at your door. Turkey sandwich, pickle on the side. Don't open the door until you hear the footsteps leave." She heard the footsteps almost immediately, coming down her hallway, stopping right outside her door, not knocking, not speaking, just a soft whump of something being set down on the carpet. Then footsteps again walking away. The elevator dinged. The elevator doors closed. And Lena Carter sat with her back against her front door holding her phone to her chest, and she understood clearly for the first time without anybody having to explain it to her that whatever this was, whatever she had walked into, she was not going to walk out of it the same person. She got up. She opened the door. She picked up the paper bag. She ate the sandwich standing up at the kitchen counter, the way a woman eats when she does not trust herself to sit down. The bread was fresh. The turkey was sliced thick. The pickle was wrapped in its own little piece of wax paper because apparently the man who had sent 2 strangers to pull her drunk ex-boyfriend out of a hallway also knew that a soggy pickle ruined a turkey sandwich. Lena Carter thought, "I am losing my mind." Then she thought, "This is the best sandwich I have ever had in my life." Then her phone rang. It was Jessica. "Lee." "Hi, Jess." "Don't hi, Jess me. Open your door." "What? Open your door? I am literally standing in your hallway." Lena nearly choked on the sandwich. She wiped her mouth with the back of her hand and half ran to the door and opened it, and there was Jessica Nguyen holding a grocery bag and looking at the paper bag from Adrian sitting on the hallway carpet with the single most unimpressed face Lena had ever seen on a human woman. Lee, Jess, Lena, let me explain. Oh, please do, please. I brought a bottle of wine and I would love to hear this explanation. Jess walked in, set the grocery bag on the counter, turned around, crossed her arms, waited. Jess, you told me you blocked him. I know. You looked me in the face on the phone this morning and you told me you blocked him. I know. Lena, I know, Jess. I know. I lied to you. I lied to you and I'm sorry. Jess closed her eyes, took a breath, opened them. Tell me what happened. All of it, from the last time we talked until right now. Don't leave anything out. So Lena told her, the text to Adrian about the coffee shop meeting, Marcus at the coffee shop, Marcus crying, Marcus grabbing her wrist, Adrian's hand on Marcus's shoulder, the walk home, the paper bag. Halfway through, Jess sat down on the kitchen stool. By the end, her head was in her hands. Lee, I know. Lena, honey, Lee, I know, Jess. He stood in the coffee shop the whole time you were with your ex, watching. I know. He watched your ex grab your wrist before he moved. Lena stopped. She had not thought about it like that. Jess, I'm just saying. He stopped it. He let it happen first. Lee, I am not trying to be mean. I am trying to tell you what I am seeing. A man who cared about you would have walked over before it started. He let it start because he wanted you to see the difference. He wanted you to watch your ex be the bad guy so that he could be the good guy. That is not a coincidence. That is choreography. Lena stood very still. Jess was looking up at her with eyes that were tired and so familiar. Sit down, Lee. Jess, sit down. Lena sat. Okay, Jess said. Okay, now I am going to ask you a question, and I need you to not get mad at me, and I need you to be honest. Okay. Do you like him? Jess, that is not an answer. I don't know what I feel. I've been broken up with Marcus for 48 hours, Jess. I don't like anybody. That's not what I asked. I didn't ask if you're ready to date him. I asked if you like him. Lena opened her mouth, closed it. Jess watched her face. Lee. Lena and Carter. I don't know, Jess. You know, there's something about him. I can't explain it. He is calm, Jess. I have never met a person that calm in my life. When he talks to me, it is like the whole world shuts up for a minute. I know how that sounds. I know exactly how it sounds. And I know what he is, Jess. I am not an idiot. You are not an idiot. You are a heartbroken woman in the middle of a very dangerous man's attention, and those two things do not make idiots. They make statistics. Lena laughed once. A small broken laugh. Jess. Yeah, babe. He told me his word means something. He told me he does not want anything from me. He told me he wants to find out if he is still the kind of man who can want something without taking it. Jess stared at her. He said that? Yes. In those words. In those words. Jess was quiet for a long time. Finally, she rubbed her face with both hands and she said very softly, Lee, that is either the most honest thing a man has ever said to a woman in this city, or it is the best line I have ever heard in my life. I know. And I don't know which. I know. I don't think you know which. I don't. They sat there, the wine on the counter, the half-eaten sandwich, the paper bag Jess had refused to touch. Finally, Jess reached across the counter and took Lena's hand. Okay, she said. Okay, here's what we're going to do. What? You're not going to block him. I'm not going to ask you to anymore. That ship sailed the minute you didn't block him yesterday. But I'm going to ask you for one thing, okay? Slow down. Whatever this is, slow down. No car rides, no apartments, no dinners at weird places you don't know. If he wants to see you, you see him in public in daylight at places I have also been. And you tell me every single time, okay? Say it back to me. Public, daylight, places you've been. Tell you every time. Good. Jess, yeah. Are you mad at me? No, Lee, I'm scared of you. Of me. Of where you're going, yeah. Lena didn't answer that. She just reached across the counter and took her best friend's hand and held it. They finished the wine. They ordered a pizza. Jess fell asleep on the couch around 11. Lena went to bed in her own room with her phone charging on the nightstand, and she stared at the ceiling, and she did not text Adrian Voss a single word. He did not text her either. Not that night, not the next morning, not for 3 whole days. And somewhere around the middle of the second day, Lena Carter discovered to her own private horror that she missed him. Not Marcus. Marcus she did not miss. Marcus had called 4 more times and she had not picked up, and on the 5th call, she had blocked his number and she had felt exactly nothing, a clean nothing, a nothing that had surprised her. But the other phone, the other conversation, the one that had gone quiet, she checked it. She checked it in the morning. She checked it at lunch. She checked it before she fell asleep. And every time the screen stayed dark, something in her chest went a little tighter. By day 3, she was furious with herself. You are 29 years old. You have a job. You have a mortgage on half of this apartment. You have a sick mother and a best friend and a life. You are not sitting here waiting for a man to text you, especially not this man. She did laundry. She went to the grocery store. She checked her phone. She called her mother. She checked her phone. She painted her nails. She checked her phone. On the 4th day at 7:42 p.m., it finally buzzed. How are you, Lena? She stared at it for a full minute before her thumbs moved. I'm okay. How are you? Better now. That was all he sent. 2 words. Better now. And Lena Carter, alone in her kitchen, put her forehead down on the cold granite of her counter and laughed for about 30 seconds because the man was good. God help her, the man was good. She texted back, Are you in the city? Yes. Would you want to get coffee? A long pause. Longer than his pauses usually were. Lena, yes. Is that a good idea? She almost laughed out loud. You are asking me if it is a good idea. Yes, because when you ask me, I have to lie. She read that twice. Adrian, yes, tomorrow, the same coffee shop on Lexington, 4 p.m. I'll bring my best friend. She wants to look at you. That is fair. She is going to be very rude to you. I imagine so. She may call you names. I have been called worse. Okay, 4 p.m. I'll be there. Lena put the phone down. She walked over to the mirror in her hallway. She looked at herself for a long moment. She looked at the woman she had been 5 days ago, the woman with a boyfriend and a routine and a life that fit. She looked at the woman she was now. She could not tell looking which one of them she was more afraid of. Then she called Jessica. Jess, I need a favor. At 4 p.m. the next day, Lena Carter and Jessica Nguyen walked into the coffee shop on Lexington. Adrian Voss was already there. Back corner, same charcoal coat, a cup of black coffee in front of him. He stood up when they came in, which Lena had not expected, and for a half second she saw Jessica's face go through a small, complicated recalibration. Miss Nguyen, Adrian said and held out his hand. Thank you for coming. Jess did not take the hand. Jess said. Sit, please. They sat. Jess crossed her arms. Did not order anything. Did not smile. Okay, Jess said. I have questions. Please. I am going to be rude. Lena warned me. Good. Go ahead. Jess opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. What are you doing with my friend? I'm trying to make sure she is all right. Why? Because I like her. You don't know her. That is true. You Googled her. No, he said. I hired someone to find her name, but I did not Google her. What's the difference? The difference is that Google would have told me things she had not told me herself. I wanted to wait for her to tell me things. Jess narrowed her eyes. Do you know I was arrested once? No. Good answer. I am telling you the truth, Miss Nguyen. I did not investigate Lena. I learned where to find her. That is all. Go on. What do you do for a living? I run my family's import business. What do you import? Many things. Name 5. Adrian smiled, an actual full smile, the first one Lena had ever seen from him. Miss Nguyen. Name 5. I would rather not. That's what I thought. I will tell you this, though, because I think it matters. I have never in my life hurt a woman. I have never in my life allowed a woman to be hurt in a room I was in. I have never in my life taken something from a woman that she did not offer to me. I am not going to do any of those things to your friend. I give you my word. Your word. Yes. A lot of men have given me their word, Mr. Voss. I believe you, and most of them were lying. I believe that too. So why should I believe you? Adrian leaned back in his chair. He looked at Jessica for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice had gotten quieter the way it did when he was actually answering a question and not managing one. Because in my business, Miss Nguyen, my word is the only currency I have. If I break my word to your friend, the people I work with will hear about it. I will lose something worth more to me than anything you could imagine. So when I give you my word that I will not hurt her, I am giving you something that costs me money and to people in time. That is the only reason you should believe me. It is the only reason anybody ever should. Jessica did not answer for a long moment. Then she said very evenly, okay, okay. I said, okay, I don't like you. I'm not going to like you, but I'm not going to tell my best friend to stop talking to you. She's a grown woman and she gets to make her own mistakes. Fair. But, yes, if you hurt her in any way, not just physically, if you lie to her, if you disappear on her, if I catch you in one thing I don't like, yes, I will find your mother. Adrian blinked. I'm sorry. I will find your mother, Mr. Voss, wherever she is, and I will tell her exactly what kind of man her son grew up to be. Everything you don't want her to know, in detail, on a Sunday. For the first time since Lena had met him, Adrian Voss looked for 1/2 second genuinely rattled. Then he laughed. A real laugh, surprised, warm. Miss Nguyen. That is the most frightening threat anybody has made against me in approximately 15 years. Good. My mother lives in a small town in Connecticut. She thinks I am in real estate. Does she now? She does. Then we understand each other. We do. Jess picked up Lena's water, drank the whole thing, set it down, stood up. I am going to use the bathroom, Jess announced, and then I am going to walk home. Lena called me tonight. Mr. Voss, it was a displeasure. Goodbye, Miss Nguyen. Jess walked off. Lena watched her go, then turned slowly back to Adrian. I'm so sorry. Don't be. She is exactly the friend I would want you to have. She threatened your mother. She did. You are smiling. I am. Why, Shino? Because I have not been threatened in a long time, Lena. I forget sometimes that it is refreshing. Lena laughed. She laughed a real laugh. The first one in days. Adrian watched her laugh. He did not laugh with her. He just watched very still the way a man watches something he is trying to memorize. When she stopped, he said, Lena. Yeah, I have to tell you something. Her stomach dropped. Okay. I am going out of town for 5 days. I leave tonight. Oh, it is a business matter. Okay? I will not be reachable the way I am reachable now. If something happens while I am gone, there is a number you can call. I am going to give it to you. Adrian. Yes. Is this dangerous? A very small pause. It is normal. That is not what I asked. No, it is not what you asked. He reached into the inside pocket of his coat. He took out a small white card. He slid it across the table. No name, just 10 digits. Only if something happens, he said. Don't call for anything else. The man on that line does not make small talk. Okay. Lena. Yeah. When I get back. Yeah. I would like to take you to dinner. She stared at him. You said you did not want anything from me. I still don't. But I have been thinking about it, and I realize that not wanting anything from you and not wanting to sit across a table from you are not the same thing. Adrian. Yes. Okay. Okay, well, it's okay. Dinner. When you come back. He nodded once. He stood up. Be careful, Lena. You too. He left. Lena sat in the booth for a long time with her cold coffee and the little white card, and she did not call Jessica, and she did not call her mother, and she did not call anybody. She just sat. 5 days passed. He did not text. She did not text. The white card sat on her kitchen counter like a thing made of radioactive material. On the morning of the 6th day at 6:14 a.m., her phone rang. Not from Adrian's number, from the number on the card. Lena sat bolt upright in bed. Her hand was shaking before she'd even picked up the phone. She already knew. The way you know, the way your body knows before your brain catches up. Hello? A voice on the other end. Not a voice she had heard before. Older, rougher, careful. Miss Carter? Yes. Mr. Voss asked that I call you if a particular situation arose. What situation? Miss Carter. What situation? A pause. Mr. Voss has been injured. Lena stopped breathing and, how? Not over the phone, Miss Carter. He is alive. Where is he? Miss Carter. Where is he? Another pause. Longer. Miss Carter, I will be at your building in 11 minutes. Please dress warmly. Please bring nothing with you but your phone and Miss Carter. Yes. Do not tell anyone where you are going. The line went dead. Lena Carter sat on the edge of her bed in a t-shirt and a pair of old sleep shorts, holding a phone that was no longer connected to anything. And she understood with a clarity she had never felt before about anything in her whole life that the moment she walked out of her apartment this morning, she was not going to be the same woman who walked back in. She stood up, she got dressed, she walked to the door, she picked up her coat. She did not call Jessica. The man waiting for her downstairs did not introduce himself. He was older than she had expected. Gray at the temples, a face that had seen things and had not at any point been made softer by them. He opened the back door of a black car that was not the same black car she had seen before, a different one, quieter. Miss Carter, where is he? In the car, please. Is he at a hospital? Miss Carter, in the car. She got in. The door shut behind her with the specific, heavy sound of a door that was not a regular door. She understood what that sound meant, and she did not ask about it. The driver pulled away from the curb. Tell me what happened. That is not my information to give Miss Carter. He called me, through you, at 6 in the morning. I think it is my information now. The driver met her eyes in the rearview mirror, held them for a long second, then to her surprise he nodded. Mr. Voss was in a meeting last night that did not go the way he planned. There was an altercation. He was injured in the shoulder and the side. He is not at a hospital. He will not be at a hospital. He is in a place of ours where a doctor has been. The doctor has done what the doctor can do. Mr. Voss has been asking for you since he woke up. Since he woke up? Yes. He was unconscious. For some time, yes. Lena put both hands flat on her thighs to keep them from shaking. How bad? He will live. That is not what I asked. I know, Miss Carter, it is the only answer I am giving you. The drive was 40 minutes. She did not know where they were. She did not look. She watched her own hands in her lap and she tried to do what her mother had taught her to do a long time ago when her father was dying. Count the breath. 4 in, 4 out, 4 in, 4 out. It did not work very well. When the car stopped, the driver came around and opened her door. Miss Carter? Yeah, he looks worse than he is. Okay. I am telling you so that you do not make a face he will remember. She looked up at him. Thank you. The man inside the building, an older woman in a housekeeper's apron, 2 men in dark suits who did not speak, a doctor who was packing up a bag and nodded at her once without stopping, all of them moved around her like she was supposed to be there, like she had been expected, like she was part of the furniture of Adrian Voss's real life. None of them asked her name. None of them asked her business. She was led down a hallway. A door was opened. Adrian was in a bed, not a hospital bed, a regular bed. His shoulder was wrapped. There was a bandage along his ribs. His face was pale. There was a bruise blooming along his jaw. His eyes were closed. The man at the door said quietly, Mr. Voss, she is here. Adrian opened his eyes. He looked at her. His whole face changed. Lena. Hi. You came. Of course I came. You shouldn't have. I know. He tried to sit up, winced, let himself back down. She crossed the room without thinking and sat on the edge of the bed, and she took his hand, and she had not meant to take his hand, and she did it anyway. Adrian, I'm all right. You are not all right. I am alive. In my line of work, those are the same sentence. Don't. Don't what? Don't make a joke right now, please. He was quiet. He squeezed her hand once, weakly. Okay. What happened? A disagreement. Adrian. Lena. I'm sitting on your bed in a house I do not know after being driven here by a man whose name I do not know because you were unconscious and asking for me. I think I get to know what happened. He closed his eyes, opened them again. There is a family, he said, that my family has had a disagreement with for a long time. 31 years. Longer than you have been alive. Every 5 or 6 years, somebody on one side or the other decides that this is the year we settle it. Last night, somebody on the other side decided it was this year. He was wrong, but he made his decision close enough to me that I have a hole in my shoulder to show for it. Oh my God, Lena. Oh my God, Adrian. Lena, listen to me. I am listening. I want you to go home. She blinked. What? I want you to go home. Today, right now. Frank will drive you. I want you to go home, and I want you to not answer my calls, and I want you to not answer the door, and I want you to live your life. I want you to meet a man who works in an office. I want you to marry him. I want you to have a baby. I want you to forget my name. Adrian, I am telling you the truth, Lena. This is what I should have said to you the first night. I should have said to you I am a dangerous man, and the things around me are dangerous, and the people who do not like me are dangerous, and you are not going to survive loving me. I should have said that. I did not say that. I said instead that I wanted to find out if I could want something without taking it. And what I have found out, Lena, is that I cannot. Because the minute a man like me wants something, a person, a woman, a future, there are other men who will try to take that thing away from him. And I cannot. His voice cracked. Adrian Voss's voice cracked. Lena had not thought him capable of it. I cannot be the reason something happens to you, he said. Go home, please. Go home. She looked at him. She looked at his bandaged shoulder, at the bruise along his jaw, at the hand in hers which was cold and which she had not let go of. And she understood then in a very clean and very strange way the thing she had been trying not to understand for 2 weeks. She was not going home. Adrian. Lena, please. No. Lena, mamis. No, Adrian. He closed his eyes. I am not going home, she said, Bjarne. I am going to go get you water, because your lips are dry, and I can tell you are thirsty, and nobody in this house seems to have thought about it. I am going to bring you that water, and then I am going to sit in the chair next to this bed, and I am going to sit there until the doctor comes back. And then I am going to sit there some more. Do you understand me? Lena, do you understand me, Adrian? A long pause. Yes. Good. She let go of his hand. She stood up. She walked to the door. At the door, with her hand on the frame, she stopped. She did not turn around. Adrian. Yes. I want to say something, and I only want to say it one time, and I want you to listen to me. I'm listening. I spent 7 years with a man who was a coward in a clean suit. 7 years. I picked up his dry cleaning. I lied for him to his mother. I sat in a hospital while he was in a hotel. I am 29 years old, and I have been a fool for 7 of those years. Do you understand what I am telling you? Yes. I am not going to be a fool for one more day of my life, Adrian. For you or for anybody. I am going to walk into things with my eyes open from now on. And if I walk out of something, it is going to be because I chose to walk out. Not because a man told me to go home for my own good. Are we clear? Yes. Good. She went and got the water. She stayed 2 days. She slept in the chair by the bed the first night, and the housekeeper whose name she learned was Marta woke her up at 3 a.m. to take her to a guest room, and she slept there the second night. Marta made her eggs in the morning. Marta did not ask questions. Marta patted her on the shoulder once on the second morning and said in an accent Lena could not quite place, "He is a good man when he is allowed to be one, Miss Carter." Lena said, "Is he allowed to be one?" Marta said, "That is what you will decide." On the third morning, the doctor said Adrian could be moved. They drove back to the city, slowly. The whole way Adrian held her hand in the back seat, and he did not speak, and she did not either. Jessica was waiting outside her apartment when she got home. Jess had called 11 times. Jess had texted 27. Jess had a bag from a Thai place, 2 cans of ginger ale, and the face of a woman who had already prepared the argument. Lena. Hi, Jess. Where were you? Jess. Lena, Ann, Carter, where were you? Lena opened her door. Jess followed her in. Jess set the Thai food on the counter and crossed her arms. Lena sat down on the couch. She put her face in her hands. She cried for about 30 seconds. Not loudly, not the way she had cried over Marcus, quietly. The way a woman cries when she has been holding something for 2 days that is too heavy for one person to hold. Jess came over, sat down, pulled her into a hug. "Okay," Jess said. "'Kay, baby, okay, tell me." Lena told her everything. When she was done, Jess was quiet for a long moment. She got up. She got 2 plates. She spooned out pad see ew. She brought one back to the couch. Eat. Jess, eat, then we talk. Lena ate. Finally, Jess said, Lee, yeah, I am not going to try to talk you out of this. Lena looked up. What? I thought about it the whole time you were gone. I thought about every single thing I was going to say to you when you came back. And I realized something. What? I realized you are not the same woman who sent a drunk text 2 weeks ago. You are not the same woman I had to pull off the kitchen floor. Something changed in you, Lee. I don't know what, and I am not going to fight it. Jess, I am not done. Listen to me. I am not going to fight it, but I am going to tell you 2 things. Are you listening? I am listening. 1. If you ever again disappear for 2 days without calling me, I will call your mama. I will drive to Baltimore and I will tell your mama everything. Do you understand? I understand. 2. Yeah, I love you. I have loved you since we were 12 years old. I will love you if you marry that man, and I will love you if you leave him. I will love you if he drags you into something that makes the papers. I will love you if you show up on my doorstep in 5 years with a baby and a black eye. I will love you if you show up on my doorstep in 5 years with a baby and in the most ordinary life a woman has ever lived. I will love you, Lena Carter, whatever you pick. Are you hearing me? Lena was crying again, not quietly this time. I'm hearing you. Good. Jess. Yeah. I love you too. I know you do, you dramatic mess. 3 weeks passed. 3 weeks in which Adrian Voss healed and ate dinner with her twice and held her hand across a white tablecloth at a restaurant that did not have a sign on its door and kissed her on the corner of the mouth outside her building on a Thursday night and then drove away before she could say anything about it. 3 weeks in which Marcus Bell sent her exactly one final text from a number she did not recognize, which said simply, I get it, I am sorry, goodbye. And that was all. 3 weeks in which Lena Carter started to think quietly in the back of her own mind that maybe the worst of it was behind her, that maybe Adrian had been wrong, that maybe a woman could walk into the orbit of a man like him and the orbit could simply hold without breaking, without pulling her apart. 3 weeks. And on the 22nd day at 4:16 in the afternoon, as Lena Carter was walking home from the pharmacy with a paper bag and her keys in her hand, a man she had never seen before stepped out from between 2 parked cars and put his hand on her elbow. Miss Carter, she froze. Don't scream. Don't run. Don't do anything. I only want to talk to you. Get your hand off of me. Walk with me to the corner, Miss Carter. Just to the corner. That is all I am asking. I said, get your hand. Your Mr. Voss is sitting in a restaurant on 58th Street right now. He does not know I am here. I want you to understand that before I say anything else. I am here on my own. Who are you? I am a man who has a problem with your Mr. Voss, and I have a message I need delivered, and the only way I could think of to deliver it was to you. Let go of my elbow. Miss Carter. Let go of my elbow. He let go. He did not step back. The message is this. Tell him that if he does not meet me on Friday, if he does not bring what he owes, if he does not come alone, the next conversation I have will not be with you. It will be with your mother in Baltimore. Do you understand? Lena's whole body went cold. How do you know about my mother? I know a lot of things about you, Miss Carter. If you touch my mother, I am not touching anyone. I am delivering a message. The message is that I could. That is the whole message. Tell your Mr. Voss. Friday, he'll know where. The man stepped back. He walked away. He turned the corner. He was gone. Lena stood on the sidewalk with the paper bag from the pharmacy in one hand and her keys in the other, and she did not move, and she did not cry, and she did not call anybody. Not yet. She stood there for 1 full minute. She waited for her hands to stop shaking. Then she walked very calmly to the curb, and she flagged down a cab, and she got in the back, and she told the driver an address on 58th Street. She did not call Adrian first. She did not call Jessica. She walked into that restaurant at 4:31 p.m. with the paper bag still in her hand, and the maitre d' tried to stop her, and she looked over his shoulder and she saw Adrian at a corner table with 2 men in suits, and one of them noticed her first and tapped Adrian's hand, and Adrian turned. He saw her face. He stood up. He was already walking toward her by the time she was halfway across the room. Lena. Outside. What happened? Outside Adrian. He took her by the shoulder, gently. He walked her back out onto the street. He closed the door of the restaurant behind them. Tell me, she told him, every word, the name of the street, the way the man had looked, the part about her mother, the part about Friday. She did not cry. Her voice did not shake. She had already done all of her shaking on the sidewalk, and she was done with it. Adrian listened. When she was finished, his face had done the thing she had only ever seen it do once, before the night in the coffee shop, when he had looked down at her wrist and seen the marks on it. A thing that was not loud, a thing that was not visible to people who were not looking for it. But Lena was looking for it. Adrian. Yes. What are you going to do? A long pause. I am going to handle it, Lena. What does handle it mean? It means you are going to your mother's house in Baltimore tonight. I am putting you on a train in 1 hour. 2 of my men are going to your mother's house tonight, and they are going to sit in her living room, and they are going to drink her coffee, and they are not going to leave until I tell them they can leave. That is one part of what handle it means. And the other part. The other part is not for you to know, Lena. Not tonight, not ever. Adrian. Lena. If you, Lena, he took her face in both of his hands, gently, the gentlest thing he had ever done. Listen to me. I told you the first night we met that I did not want to be the reason that something happened to you. Do you remember? Yes. I meant it then. I mean it now. So I am going to ask you to do something that is going to feel very hard. I am going to ask you to trust me. I am going to ask you to get on a train. I am going to ask you to not ask me what I did on Friday. And I am going to ask you when this is over to decide with your eyes open the way you told me you were going to decide things from now on, whether you still want to be in a room with me. She looked at him. She looked at him for a long time. Adrian. Yes, I already decided. He blinked. What? I already decided. I decided on the second morning in that house when Marta brought me eggs. I decided a long time before you thought I did. Lena. I am going to get on the train. I am going to go to my mother. I am not going to ask you what you did on Friday. But when I come back, Adrian, when I come back, I am not going to a different apartment. I am not going to a different life. I am coming back to you. Do you understand what I am saying to you? His eyes were wet. She had not known he could do that either. Yes. Good. Lena. Yeah. I do not deserve you. I know you don't. Neither did the last one. The difference is you know it. He put her on a train that night. Her mother cried when she walked in the door. The 2 men in suits sat in her mother's living room and drank coffee and did not leave for 5 days. They called her mother ma'am. Her mother, by the 3rd day, was feeding them pie. On Friday, Lena did not watch the news. On Saturday morning, Adrian called her. He said, "It is done." She said, "Come and get me." A year later, Lena Carter stood at the window of an apartment on the 22nd floor of a building she had not been able to imagine a year before, with a cup of coffee in her hand and a ring on her finger that had not come from a store, and she looked down at a street that had no black sedan on it anymore, because the black sedan was parked in a garage downstairs because the man who rode in it lived here now with her. Jessica was coming for dinner. Her mother was coming next weekend. The man who had stopped her on the street that day in the pharmacy had not been heard from again, and she had never asked why, and she never would. Her phone buzzed on the counter. "Are you home, Lena?" She smiled. She typed back, "Yes, Adrian, I'm home." And she was. She had sent a furious drunk text to the wrong number on the worst night of her life. She had meant to curse out a coward. She had instead dialed her way into the orbit of a dangerous man who had turned out to be the only honest one she had ever known. Lena Carter had not been looking for a mafia boss, but a mafia boss had been looking at her. And in the end, with her eyes open, the way she had promised herself she would do everything from now on, Lena Carter had chosen him. And she would choose him again, every single time.